What makes some sales managers more successful and respected than others? What are their secrets? What behaviors and approaches do they use that you possibly don't or have not mastered? In this tactic, I will share with you how your passion is the fuel that drives success. It's not just about delivering empty pep talk. To truly motivate your team to reach their full potential, you need to communicate expectations with a genuine passion and authenticity, which I talk about a lot. Passion, your passion, it's contagious. It has a ripple effect. See, they feed off of your energy, your enthusiasm, and you're not allowed to have off days. You cannot have bad days because you risk negatively affecting the entire team. So you got to strap this onto your shoulders. You have to realize and embrace that you are on stage all day, every day. Sorry. However, it's important to strike the right balance. When you're showing too much passion, especially at the wrong time, that can backfire. And that leaves your team feeling unmotivated and more focused on your bullshit than on. So understand when and how often to demonstrate your enthusiasm. How and how often to be enthusiastic. And you got to make sure you're avoiding overwhelming your salespeople. When achievements happen, don't hold back. Don't hold back your genuine excitement. You do have that excitement, right? You're going to have to capture that. You've got to understand I'm on stage. They got to see that I see what you've done, what you've accomplished. I need to tap into their looking for your approval, your acceptance, your recognition. And make sure you share it with your team in both group meetings and individual sessions. Let them see and feel how their hard work translates into tangible results. That's the kind of behavior you're looking for. Reward the behaviors you seek. Back to you and your passion. To harness your passion, recognize that each individual in your team is motivated by different things. I've talked about that before. Tailor your approach to tap into their unique passions and drive. Some may thrive on competition, while others find motivation in the opportunity to surpass their peers. Understand what lights their fire and use it to light their way to success. And what does passion and authenticity look like? How is it displayed? Observing passion and authenticity in the story I'm about to share with you, you need to pay attention to some of the clues. What does passion and authenticity look like? How do I know that I'm doing it? How is it displayed? Well, let me give you some ideas. Verbal cues. Listen for emotional tone, enthusiasm, a grand use of storytelling and the use of positive language. And then there's nonverbal cues. Observe body language, eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, and overall engagement. And then there's the transparency and honesty. Look for openness in discussing challenges, acknowledging setbacks, being honest, and providing genuine explanations. And then, more important than anything else, you need to show empathy and support. Notice how a great manager listens to team members. They validate their feelings, and then they offer encouragement and assistance when needed. When you see a sales manager, as I have many times, effectively combining these elements in their communication, you can be certain they're displaying passion and authenticity. Now, here is an example so you can clearly understand tangibly what it looks like. Let me tell you the story. The sales team at a software company was facing some challenges, as often sales teams do. And these challenges were in meeting their quarterly targets. Big surprise there, right? But they had the sales manager, John, and John saw where this team was headed. He called a meeting. He brought everybody together because he knew that he had to encourage and build up the team's confidence. He had to address the situation. Now, many sales managers would bring them in and focus on the wrong thing, which is focusing solely on the numbers. But John, no, John, who was a very inspirational manager, John began the meeting by sharing a personal story. He knows how you feel because he talked about his early days in sales and the obstacles that he personally faced and how he overcame them through determination and a positive mindset. And here's a story that John told. I'm going into the role of John now. As many of you know, when I started in sales, I faced numerous challenges that tested my resolve and determination. One particular experience stands out in my memory, a time when I was struggling to close a deal I had been working on for months. Every meeting seemed to end with more questions than answers, and I felt like I was just hitting a wall. One evening, after a particularly disheartening meeting with this prospect, I sat down and I reflected on what's holding me back. And through that self-reflection, looking in the mirror, self-analyzing this, I realized that I was focusing too much on the obstacles. I was focusing on the negative and not enough on finding creative solutions. When that light went on that night, I made a decision to approach this situation with a different sense of optimism and a more positive mindset, one that was more solution-based. So the next day, I called the client up and I suggested a very different approach that aligned more closely with their needs. I had gone back through and thought about all the challenges, all the things they had said to me that I saw as an obstacle, not an opportunity to solve something. And I had gone back and then reconstructed what I had listened to. And I needed to pay more attention to their concerns. And so when I called them up, I addressed those concerns with confidence. And I offered solutions that were tailored to those specific challenges. To my surprise, the client responded positively and agreed to move forward with the deal. Specifically, I proposed a phased implementation plan that allowed the client to start with a smaller pilot project before committing to the full-size implementation. I warmed them up to the big deal. And this approach got over their lack of trust that this would actually work for them. So this approach not only mitigated their initial investment risk, but also provided them with tangible results that they could benefit from early on and justify the cost. And additionally, I offered flexible pricing options that aligned with their budget. They had budget constraints. And I was doing that without compromising any of the quality of the service. And by presenting different pricing tiers and customization options, we were able to find a solution, one that met both their financial needs and delivered the value they were looking for. And moreover, I emphasize our commitment to ongoing support and collaboration throughout the partnership. And I assured the client that we would be there every step of the way. We would provide training, we'd be there for troubleshooting, and certainly continuous improvement to ensure their success and satisfaction. And overall, these solutions address the client's concerns, and it demonstrated our flexibility and willingness to work with them. And so ultimately, they felt secure, and I got their buy-in and their agreement to move forward with the deal. See, I showed that I'd listened to their concerns, and now I was addressing those concerns with confidence and solutions that were tailored to their specific challenges. Then in the end, I then asked if that would work for them. And to my surprise and glee, the client responded positively and agreed to move forward with the deal. And that experience taught me the power of perseverance, adaptability, and maintaining a positive outlook, even in the face of adversity, because I saw no way to close this deal, because all I saw were the obstacles. And it's easy to get discouraged, especially when things don't go as planned. But it's our response to those challenges that defines our success. And I, through that story, learned that success in sales isn't just about numbers. It wasn't about how many times I called them. It's about the quality of those phone calls. It's about building relationships and, most importantly, understanding the client's perspective and never giving up, perseverance. It's about behaviors and actions, not about numbers. See, I finally realized that I needed to display active listening. And once I grasped that, I was able to solve their challenges. I lowered their barrier of trust, and then I asked for the sale. And each of you has your own unique journey in sales and your own unique challenges that you face. We all have our ups and downs, but I encourage you to embrace those challenges as opportunities to grow, to learn, and become better at what you do. Remember, it's not the obstacles that define us, but how we choose to overcome them. And then come up with solutions through actions and behaviors. What's in the way of making the sale? What can I control? Take that and offer the best solutions to their challenges. It's not about the number of phone calls. It's about the quality of those phone calls, the quality of your solutions, the quality of you being a problem solver. Always remember, and I wasn't doing this, but I needed to make it about them, not about a pitch. I hold off the pitch until I know I've given them the solution. So, John's story, hopefully you got a little bit of an idea of how inspirational stories, motivational stories, passionate stories sound and look like. Because John's story was filled with passion and authenticity. Throughout the meeting, John maintained eye contact with each of his team members. He actively then listened to their concerns. He opened up the room to say, okay, how does this apply to you? And as they brought up their concerns, their situations, he opened up the meeting. He helped them think through their concerns critically. He created a pool of collective knowledge, which encouraged them to continue to share their ideas and solutions. And this helped the entire team step back and think about the challenges they faced in a very different way, with different solutions, different words, different questions to ask, some even out of the box. He expressed confidence in their abilities and assured them of his support. And the impact of John's passionate and authentic communication was evidence in the team's response. They felt motivated, inspired, empowered to go relook at their challenges and tackle them. And several of the team members later came back and mentioned how John's words resonated with them and gave them a renewed enthusiasm. Take this to work. In your weekly and monthly one-on-one sessions, you are doing those. Articulate your vision of what success looks like, tailored to each individual team member. Show them that you believe in their potential and provide clear goals to strive for. Help them problem solve. Help them think through other ideas. Collaborate, coach, and help them find solutions. Don't just give them solutions. That may sound very efficient, so that you can move on and just get back to work. You can solve their problem quickly. Just do this. But then you make them overly dependent on you. And you also don't know the whole story. You have to ask more questions in order to offer them ideas, not solutions. In leadership, the direct route isn't always the most effective. We often need to take an indirect approach to truly influence positively others for the good of the team and the mission. This means guiding others to reveal the truth to themselves, the solution to themselves, rather than forcing them with your solution. Make it their idea, not your idea. You're much more likely to follow through with your idea than someone else's. This indirect approach isn't about being passive or avoiding solutions. It's about helping others uncover solutions on their own. And instead of confronting them, we ask questions, questions that open their minds to a better way of dealing with this. Though it seems like it's longer, taking this open approach, this critical thinking approach, this helping them work through their own solutions, this method is actually the single most efficient path to success. It's one of the top things effective leaders utilize. And while the direct approach may seem more efficient initially, it very often leads to resistance and division. Maybe you don't even recognize that. It's passive aggressiveness. See, confrontation creates friction and undermines relationships. The indirect approach builds understanding and alignment, which makes achieving your goals for the team and the mission far easier. See, success in leadership isn't about asserting authority. It's not being the boss commanding control. It's about developing cooperation and growth. That is very inspirational. By asking questions and employing the indirect approach, we can address challenges like underperformance or lack of support without causing defensiveness. There's the word. Have you experienced that? When they tend to disagree or push back, yeah, but. See, winning means guiding others towards the mission and objectives, guiding them, not telling them. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. The idea is successful as long as the team wins. If the team wins, you win. So take a moment. Think about where you can apply this indirect approach in your interactions with others this week. And instead of confronting people with a direct solution and approach, stop. Remind yourself, I need to ask questions rather than tell them what to do. By doing so, you'll lead your team to open their minds to improvement and solutions that may be the ones you came up with, but they're coming up with it. So you're able to then navigate challenges much more effectively. And that's the name of the game. And the more effective and independent you can make them, in time, that creates the efficiency that you're looking for. They become independent, self-starters. They come up with their own solutions. They have the confidence to do so. Always remember, when asked a question, you unfortunately respond with a question. Well, how do you think we ought to? How have you? What are your thoughts on that? Always ask open-ended questions. Who, what, why, when, how? Tell me more. Share that experience with us. Help them become independent thinkers, critical problem solvers. And this, in time, will boost their confidence, their independence. They will need you less, and that is the ultimate level of leadership. It's when you make yourself dispensable. And also when you make it their solution, not your solution, there's a big difference there. You're supercharging your team's motivation. And when they're motivated like this, their performance will go up. Their commitment will go up. So make your meetings, whether one-on-one or weekly group meetings, make it a space for emotional connection, where your messages are deeply embedded and reinforced either in stories or collaboration that drive for success. And make sure, remember, you're always on stage. You have to be full of optimism and praise and support. Remember, praise is the rocket fuel to your team's success, but it's got to be genuine praise. And you need to be deep on openness to ideas and collaboration. That is one of the secret sauces of highly effective sales managers. And in your weekly team meetings, paint a compelling picture of success for the entire sales team. Give them the vision, collaborate, make it open, have everyone participate. A dialogue, not a monologue. Remember this little rule. It's the 3x30 rule. You might want to write this one down and remember it. In fact, you need to write this down and remember it. For every 3 minutes of you speaking in an interaction, whether it's one-on-one or in a group, every 3 minutes, stop. Then you have to engage the team or the person by asking them open-ended questions. Get them into the discussion. Create that pool of knowledge. And it's also really cool to share what inspires you. What does inspire you? Is it books, podcasts, videos? What videos, what podcasts, what books? Is it TED Talks? Do you listen to music to fire yourself up? I do. Or is it personal experiences that you like to draw on? Give your team some idea of all these sources that have sparked your creativity, your motivation. Remember, it's always a variety. Your motivation is likely not going to be everybody's motivation. It's not one size fits all. So let's wrap this up. And I got to give you some disappointing news. I hate to tell you this, but someone has to. You don't know it all. Sorry, you don't know it all. You don't know what you don't know. However, you may be the smartest and most experienced person in the room, but you're not smarter than the room. Keep that in mind. That's humbling, and humble is good. Your passion in sales leadership is more than raw enthusiasm. In fact, I encourage you not to do that. It needs to be authentic, and it needs to be taking approaches that is connecting with your team, that you understand their individual needs, and that you're using your genuine optimism and excitement to inspire and motivate them. Your stories, your discussions, your dialogue. And by mastering the art of passionate leadership, you will transform your sales team into a driven, motivated, and high-performing unit. So let's stop. Let's reflect on your current approach to expressing passion or enthusiasm. If you're not, we need to dust that off. We need to think about it. And then we need to implement either some new strategies, some additional strategies to balance and tailor your passion for your team's needs. And if you've gotten discouraged yourself, remember, they're feeding on you. You got to get yourself out of the ditch. And the best way to do this is let's plan your next team meeting. Maybe even practice it a little bit. Yeah, go look in the mirror and look like an idiot. Role play it a little bit with open-ended questions, collaboration, maybe some stories you can tell, some inspirational sources. Focus on that collaboration that inspires. And you need to be a continuous learner. You need to always be looking for new sources, seeking new sources of inspiration to share with your team. They can choose whether to follow it or not, but make the effort. And be open to share your experiences, your stories, especially your mistakes and how you overcame them. Those are our best lessons. You're not perfect. They know you're not perfect. Be humble about it. But share your experiences. Help them collaborate, work through their own solutions, but don't give them your solutions. When interacting with your salespeople, remember there's a ripple effect of passion. There's a contagion that goes with enthusiasm. There's empowering courage, encouraging your team to exceed expectations and work through problems. There's authentic communication. It's so important for you to be sincere in your motivational efforts. No raw, no fake raw. You need to balance passion in your leadership with timing and intensity. You need to understand when and how to express your passion, tailor it. And then you need to be responsive as a leader. You need to adapt your approach based on the team's feedback or needs or the dynamics. And very important, celebrate achievements, share your excitement, demonstrate genuine joy and pride and encouragement and respect for your team, especially their individual successes. Be very free-flowing with recognition and appreciation. Remember the emotional bank account and use group and one-on-one settings to acknowledge hard work and results and achievements. And be looking for tangible results by helping your team see through the real-world impact of their behaviors, not their input, their output, their actions. Don't focus on numbers, focus on behaviors. More phone calls has never equated to more sales. It's about quality, not quantity. And then tailor your passion to the individual motivators. But you need to understand those individual drivers and recognize what uniquely motivates each team member. And then you need to personalize encouragement, which adapts your motivational approach to align with their individual passions. And there's a very diverse group of strategies out there. You may use competition. You may use personal growth or team success. There's a variety of those. Think through, research all the different strategies you can come up with. And you need to be clear in articulating a vision of success, communicating a personalized success plan for each team member. And you know what their personal goals are with the company goals. And be inspiring as a sales leader in your team meetings and your one-on-ones by painting a compelling picture of success. Share your inspirational sources. You need to make sure you're making an emotional connection, creating a space for meaningful engagement and dialogue. Reinforce drive. Use your meetings to embed and reinforce the team's commitment to success. Create peer support. And through that support comes this unconscious kind of accountability. It's a super strong tool. And then always continuous inspiration. You can't have bad days. They also be thinking about all kinds of new sources of inspiration and motivation.